doesn't just entertain, it infiltrates, it challenges, and ultimately, it rewrites the usual script. Today, we have a person whose perfectionism extends far beyond the craft of acting and filmmaking. It applies to the pursuit of a better society by including all. Let's have a look at the AV, please. Moderating the discussion, we have a well-known film critic and storyteller whose deep understanding of narrative artistry and social context will guide us to travel through our speaker's journey. Let's welcome Mr. Bharadwaj Rangan onto the stage. Thank you, sir. When we talk about socially conscious cinema, this name always stands out, as he uses the power of storytelling, not just to entertain, but to challenge deep-rooted societal norms and inspire meaningful change. Through films like Tare Zameen Par, Dangal, PK and Sitare Zameen Par, he has sparked conversations on education and gender equality and reshaped public thinking. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Aamir Khan onto the stage. And now over to you, sir, with a gracious request to commence the session.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for being here, and thank you, Aamir.
Hi, good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. And Aamir, just before this we had Mr. Nagarjuna, and there's this iconic cycle change scene from Shiva.
Yeah, I still remember it.
So
Beats up all those people with the chain, yeah.
So there are some moments that become so tied to an actor that every time the actor is felicitated or is called on stage, they somehow come up.
Yeah.
Now, if I were to ask, what are those moments for Aamir Khan? What would you say?
I don't know, ask them, yeah. Sorry? Yeah, no, I don't know. I think it's for you all to decide what are my iconic moments. For me, each film is equally important and has been a very important journey, every film that I've done. Yeah.
Right. Before we begin with the session, we've lost Mr. Dharmendra, and this loss, as many people have said, feels very personal with the industry. You've technically worked with him on Yadon Ke Barat, even
yes.
though... so when you recall him, as an actor, from the viewpoint of an actor, not somebody who knew him outside the industry, what would you say you saw in him?
Well, I've grown up watching him. And I mean, he was known as the action hero and the He-Man. And of course, he was extremely good, portraying these strong characters, action films. He was very good at that. But I think I don't know whether people have really noticed. I think he's underrated. His performances in romance or different genres, he's done so well. Comedy, my God.
Yeah.
He does amazing comedy, he does amazing romance, dramas. So according to me, Dharamji was right up there as one of the finest actors that we have. So I've really looked up to him always. And I mean, what a handsome person. Today, in fact, I'm not there in Bombay, but today is his prayer meeting. Unfortunately, I'm missing it. And I was very close to him because in the last 1 year, I must have met him about 7-8 times.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I used to really enjoy his company, so I used to go and sit with him. One day I took Azad with me, my son. I said, I want you to meet someone. Because Azad has not seen his work really. But Azad came with me and we spent a couple of hours with him and it was really wonderful. Dharamji was not only such a fine actor, but he was a great human being. He was so gentle. He was like a gentle giant. And he was very loving, no matter who he would meet, whether it's a colleague, whether it's someone not from the industry, he would always be very warm and soft in meeting people, always. So he was a wonderful person, he was a great actor, and it's a great loss for all of us, He's really an institution, Satyakam, you see his films, amazing films. there was Chupke Chupke Se, was Rishikesh Mukherjee? Was it?
Chupke.
So he's done
Dr.
all
Parimal
kinds of
Tripathi.
all kinds of genres he's done. He's done offbeat films also, and he's really an amazing. And we've really, we've lost a really amazing talent, I would say, and someone who we can all really learn from even now as we watch his films. And he had such a command over his language. I mean, his Hindustani was so, itni saaf unki zaban thi. It was amazing to hear him. Even in live events when he would speak, he had such grace. Amazing grace.
Yeah.
I remember I was there at a book launch for Yusuf Sir Dilkumarji. And there he spoke so in such dignity, and really, it's a big loss for all of us. And I'm fortunate I got to spend some time with him. In fact, Lahore, the film we've made with Sunny, I had the good fortune of showing him the film. So he's seen the film. It's not released yet, of course. But I was so glad because this was one of his favorite scripts.
This is
really
Rajkumar Santoshi's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm so glad he got to see the film,
Lovely.
Yeah.
One more question before we move on. Of course, comedy, drama, all that is there. But in the 80s, when I was watching a lot of films, Dharamji was known for the action films mainly. That was like
I think by the time he was in the 80s, he was doing mainly action.
Yeah. But I found him tremendously convincing as an action hero. Do you think that is a little underrated by people because they just think, oh, masala movie or kuch bhi chalega. They don't value the act. Because not every actor is convincing when they're landing a punch.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. A lot of people feel that action is an easier genre, or an action star is not really an actor, but that's not true. Any genre requires the highest level of acting. And Dharamji was no exception. I mean, he was one of the few actors I feel who was great, not just in action, but in any genre. He was such a fantastic actor.
And shifting right back to you, Aamir, one could say that you two have pretty much tried to explore every possible genre. You've done the comedies, you've done the dramas, you've done the snake film, you've done you've done everything.
Yeah.
So was that a conscious decision after a point? Because in the early days, when you were doing, of course, QSQT became a massive hit, and that branded you for some time. You were doing films in Neelam with Juhi.
Actually, my second film was Raak.
Yeah.
Which was completely opposite of QSQT in that sense.
For some reason, I remember it was coming before QSQT. This was like a...
No.
Okay.
It came after. It was also shot after. We started QSQT in 86. It was August of 86 when we did the Mahurat.
Okay.
Raji and Krishna ji had come, I remember. They were close friends of Nasir sir. So it was 86 August we started. And it released in 88. Yeah. And Raak started in 87.
Okay.
And released in 89 or 90, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So that, it's interesting.
Well, to answer your question, I think I got your question. See, the thing is that I've always been someone who's loved stories. Growing up, as a child also, I used to love stories. I used to listen to my grandmother's story. She used to tell us stories, and our cook in the house would tell us stories, and Hawa Mahal would come on radio, so I used to love listening to Hawa Mahal. I don't know how many of you even know what it is. The youngsters, I don't think will know what is Hawa Mahal. It was like a radio skit, you remember what it was? Oh, yeah, hi, how are you? Yeah. So I used to love stories, and it wasn't so thought out as people may imagine, but I just felt instinctively that when I've done a certain kind of film, then I don't want to do the same thing again. It's boring for me. It's not fun. It's not exciting. Same cheez aap dobara kar rahe ho. Same cheez aap 10 dafa kar rahe ho. So I can't do it only. So that is why right from the beginning I've chosen different kinds of films. I guess that's the answer.
And in the process, you've also become one of the few stars of Indian cinema who's a star, but who also has kind of slipped through that star image cut trap. Yes, one might say that you've made socially conscious films at times or whatever, but there are certain actors who become stars and they get identified with a particular image. Like, I'm going to this person, I'm going to get this combination of whatever it is, that combination.
With me, you don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is. And I think that's
exactly how I like it.
Yeah.
See, I like to surprise my audience. I like to surprise myself. I don't want to do the same thing again and again.
Yeah.
So, it's just out of how I am as a personality that I've picked different scripts. And I've always gone with what excites me personally. See, a lot of film people tend to try and second guess the audience. So what is it that I should make today?
Mm-hmm.
So the obvious answer is what people are watching. What are the films running nowadays in the market? So you try and make that genre. If it's action, you make action. If it's comedy, you try and pick up a comedy film. But I've never thought that way. I've not been able to think that way. I pick films based on my own personal excitement towards the story. And that often, in fact, most often, that goes against what is the norm at that time. I remember when I was doing an action film for the first time, Gajni. Action was out. And everyone told me, कि यार, तू अभी action कर रहा है, action film नहीं चल रही आजकल. So Gajni came in again, action came into fashion. But, so I always, actually, when you're saying star, I don't know how I became a star. By all logic, I should not have been a star. I broke all the rules and I did everything impractical. So, ऊपर वाला मेहरबान है मेरे पे कि मुझे इतनी इज्जत और सक्सेस मिली है, वरना प्रैक्टिकली मैंने सारे जो स्टेप्स लिए थे वो सक्सेस के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से नहीं थे. इनफैक्ट मोस्ट ऑफ देम, मतलब ऑलमोस्ट एवरी फिल्म आई यूज्ड टू पिक अप. I used to be like, I don't know whether this is going to work. I mean, like Sarfarosh,
Yeah.
Lagan. When we were releasing the film, we had no idea okay, people are going to like it or not like it. You heard Javed Saab saying, he told us, don't make the film.
Yeah.
Lagan, then there was even Dil Chahta was very unusual for its time. Sitare Zameen Par, all these films that I have picked, they were not meant to be successful. But they became, so I'm glad.
So today, when this year you chose another off the beaten track subject and you make a Sitare Zameen Par and it proves to be a success and it has an afterlife and it makes people talk about certain things and it creates news because of its release pattern, post-theatrical and all these things, does it create a sense of validation in you that, yes, I'm still on the right track?
I think, yeah, it does, especially in this time. Because before Sitare, I was told that you must take on an action film. Because that's what's running, big...
This pan-India, what they call pan-India.
Pan-India or, massive action thriller kind of a film, spy film or something. And it's a nice idea, I'm not denying that I should do an action film. But I need to get something which excites me. And what excited me was this Spanish film called Champions, which we made into Sitare Zameen Par. And such a beautiful film, it just won my heart. It just won my heart. So when something, touches me so deeply, then I have to do that. I can't do anything else. So against the advice of people close to me, I ended up doing a film, on disabilities, on challenges. And I was told by everyone that this film is not going to work. And, people don't like to watch people with disabilities on screen, and audiences don't like to go to theatres for these kind of films. They want to have a good time, so, why are you making this film? But I think the audience has proved everyone wrong, and the way the film got the reaction, the kind of love and respect the film got was, unprecedented. So I am really happy that audiences, don't only want to watch one kind of film, I feel. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what genre you're making it, what genre you're working in, but you have to, each film that you make has to be really, hitting on the right notes. And so even if you're making an action film, at the end of the day, you need a good story for that. Gajni is an action film, but what a story. The character of Kalpana, she's the heart of the film. So I think that even in action, you'll need good stories, you'll need writers and good stories. to make a good action film. Not all action films do well.
Yeah. Now that we're talking about Sitare, there is one aspect about the film that's, I mean, there are many interesting things about the film, but there's one aspect that really stands out, which is that there is no pity in the movie. And that's a little unusual because in India, Indian films rather, we make slightly broader based films.
And we are more emotional. So, yeah.
So, but the beautiful thing about Sitare is that there is no bechara, that not the for the kids, right?
Yes.
They all have strong attitudes.
No, they are all sorted guys.
Sorted people. So was that ever a point of
No, that was the reason I did the film.
Okay.
You see, in the original Champions, this was one of the things that hit me. That here are these 10 people who are supposed to be disabled and who are, called mentally challenged, and they are looked down upon, and people judge them, feeling that they are incapable of doing anything. But in this film, those 10 characters are full of life, always playing on the front foot, and they are not shown with any pity के बेचारे हैं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं, वो अपने जैसे ही है भाई, थोड़ा हमसे slow है, बाकी सब same है, they might take little 2 minutes more than us, and that's the truth, because I'm telling you in the film, everyone I meet asks me कि आपको तो बहुत problem होएगी ये film shoot करने में, it's so difficult to work with people with disabilities. The fact is that no, it was easier to work with them. Because they are so focused, they are so involved. If half our actors and technicians, I'm sorry to say this, but if half our actors and technicians were as involved as them, every film would have been a hit. So they are so hardworking, and they understand in 2 minutes. They're not, in 2 minutes they understand what you want them to understand. So this is all. So I felt that the original film, one of the beauty of the original film was that it is not treating them in any different way as you would treat a, neurotypical person or neuroatypical person. In that film, everyone is treated the same way. And that was one of the beautiful things about the film, which we retained, And, yeah.
Now, given the theme of this film, or Sitare Zameen Par, or certain other films like Dangal, and your TV show, Satyamay. Now, is there one part of you that also wants or tries to have every film
something social
put out something? Because even when you were introduced here, there was like, Aamir Khan does these things.
Yeah, actually the fact is that I'm such a strong film person. I'm not an activist, and nor am I someone who's interested in actively going and taking up issues, and that's not me. What is me is storytelling. What is me is films. That's my world. And I'm very sharply aware that when a person comes to a cinema hall, he or she is not coming there for a lesson in sociology. For that, they would go to a college. The fact that they have come to a cinema hall means they want to be entertained. I'm sharply aware that my primary responsibility to my audience is to give them a good time, is to entertain them. But the word entertain is not just make you laugh. I can make you cry also and entertain you. Basically, I want to engage you in one way or the other. I can scare you by making a horror film. I can make a suspense thriller. I can make a family drama. At different genres. So, sorry, where was I? Lost my track.
The social.
So I'm not actively looking. For example, right now I'm looking for my next film. I'm deciding which one to do. So I'm not thinking of, nor in the past have I ever thought that which is the next social topic I should pick up. That does not occur to me at all. I'm only interested in doing films which excite me and scripts which I think are great. Now, it's maybe the kind of person I am. So I'm not thinking like that. I'm looking at scripts. When I hear the script of Sitare Zameen Par, I'm seeing that the script is a really rock solid script. When I'm listening to the script of 3 Idiots, which is actually a social story, it's a social message of the film has about education, and where it's saying really important things. But it's a great script. So the first attraction for me is the great script. And if that great script is also telling us something which is socially relevant, sole pe suhaga. It's all the better. But I'm not trying to look for social themes. Now, it may sound odd because I've done so many films which are social. So
Yeah.
it feels odd that I'm saying this. Clearly, I must have gone after social themes. But the fact is, I haven't. But I think two things have happened. One is this, because of my upbringing, the kind of person I am, I think I get, attracted to certain slightly different things. And the other thing is that I've had the good fortune of these great writers coming to me with such good scripts. If Sitare Zameen Par script had not come to me, I would not have done it. So all these films which I'm getting the credit for, the first credit has to go to the writer. He thought of the story. He or she sat alone and came up with this idea, the characters, the story, the theme, research. When you're making a social topic, you have to do a lot of research. So these writers actually need to get the credit for that. And I feel I'm fortunate कि मेरे सामने वो कहानी आ गई. नहीं आती तो मैं नहीं करता. So I think it's a combination of, fortunately a lot of writers came up with social themes which I really liked. For example, Dangal is again one very important one. Lapata Ladies, So as it turns out, when I look back, a lot of my films have got social themes. I agree, but I've not been picking social themes. वो automatically हो जाता है.
But I think you undervalue, yes, the writers, they bring you the thing, but I have a feeling
Writers,
that
directors.
you also have a very strong instinct for scripts, which is something that you probably cannot answer, I don't know. But because I feel that many directors, without naming them, have done what is considered or what people consider their best work with you. And it's a two-way thing, I feel, that you also...
I know what you're saying. So I do bring a lot of strengths to the table. I must tell you, my upbringing and my childhood has got a lot to do with it. Because I've never been to film school.
I've never been either.
You've
People
not been
pointed to
either.
me suddenly, like...
No, so what happened is, because I was interested in stories, and a lot of children are interested in listening to stories. I was one of them. So that fascination of listening to stories was so strong in me that a lot of writers and directors would come to my house to pitch stories to my father, who was a producer, and my uncle, who was a director. So whenever there was a person at home narrating something to my dad, I would hide behind the curtain and sit and listen to the story, because I was only interested in listening to the story. After some time, my father got to know. My father was a very strict person, and I was very scared of him. So that's why I used to hide behind the curtain. Didn't have the courage to ask him. But when he found out, luckily he didn't shout at me. Instead he said, "Wahan kyun baithe ho?" Yeah. So I was like, oh, I can sit with them. And then from the age of 6 or 7, up till the age of 17, because at 18 I became an assistant director. Until that age, almost every script that my father heard, I had heard. And that's many scripts in a year. And I grew up in that atmosphere. So how you have a Gurukul training? कि आप रोज सीख रहे हो. ऐसा नहीं कि there's no class.
It's almost like a riyaz.
It's daily. And in fact, in my house, my mother, who's also very enthusiastic about films, and she also comes from a film background. Not many people know that my mother's uncle were Fazli brothers, who used to make films in the 40s. So she grew up in that family. In Mahim, they used to live in Mahim. So she lived with them in her young age. So she's also a film person. My dad is a film person. All of us 4 kids. See, all of us feel we are film people. Even if we don't know about films, we feel we know the best. So at dinner tables, at home, lunch, after dinner on a Sunday, constantly we used to be discussing, arguing about films. And so I think that was my training period, those 5-6 years to 16-17 years was my training period. And I heard a lot of stories, and not just that, I heard a lot of discussions that used to happen after the stories between the directors and the writers and my dad. And I think slowly I started without realizing it, you know, picking up. Because at that time I didn't know I was going to be in the films. Today when I look back, I realize that was my training. And which is why my understanding of scripts perhaps is slightly better, is because I've spent so many years in that, you know, while growing up.
Yeah.
I think that's probably the reason.
Do you remember?
In fact, you know, it's very strange. I read a book called, or rather I was recommended a book called The Art of Dramatic Writing. So The Art of Dramatic Writing is a book on writing for theatre, but it applies as well for cinema. And I can't remember, I think it was Bhatt Sahab, or who was it who told me you must read this book? I think it was Bhatt Sahab. So I got the book and I started reading and I was like, I know all this. Because that's what I had learned growing up, you know. It's damn funny. So each chapter, so I read the first chapter. This is the truth. I read the first chapter in detail. It's about premise. And then I read the contents, characterization, subplots. I said, oh, I know all of this. So I've not read the book after that. And the funny part is I recommend it to everyone. But it is a really good book. So I'll just tell you about the first chapter. Talks about premise. आप बनाना क्या चाह रहे हो? What do you want to make? What are you trying to say? So I remember when I was a kid, my father, narration used to get over, and my father would tell the writer, आप एक लाइन में कहानी सुनाइए. आपकी कहानी क्या है? एक लाइन में बोलिए. अगर एक लाइन में नहीं बोल सकते तो आपकी फिल्म चलेगी नहीं. So I used to get very amazed that he's just taken 3 hours to tell the story. How can he say it in one line? Poor chap. It's a very unreasonable demand you're making of the writer. एक लाइन में बोलो कहानी क्या है. And at that time I used to find it unreasonable. But then I realized, if you read the first chapter of this book, the first chapter and the most important chapter is saying you need to know what you're trying to say. आप बोलना क्या चाह रहे हो? What is your premise? Lagan. What are you trying to say? Where there is a will, there is a way. Qayamat se Qayamat tak. What is the one-line story of Qayamat se Qayamat tak? True love can never be defeated. It conquers even death. दोनों साथ में मरते हैं. So in one line you're telling the story. मैं ये कहना चाह रहा हूँ. You know, a lot of Hindi films have a very common premise, which is good always wins over evil. So this is a very common premise. Most films you will find this is the premise. So I realized that period was the real learning for me, you know. Even something like what is the premise I actually learned when I was 7 years old. You know, एक लाइन में कहानी बताना. क्या है आपकी कहानी? दंगल. What is the मारी चोरियां चोरों से कम है के? एक लाइन में पूरी कहानी है. You know. So that's a very these are things I picked up, and I think my strengths with scripting is because of my childhood that I spent a lot of time with writers.
So when there are times when the script that you approve and the one line works and everything happens and something happens and the film doesn't quite click, does it make you doubt yourself? Or do you look for reasons why this could have happened?
Well, fortunately, you know, so far, almost every film that I have loved, which I have been a part of, has succeeded. And of the films I have done, the films that I also did not like, मुझे भी लगा कि film अच्छी नहीं बनी है, those are the ones that have not worked. So when you're asking me, you know, do you get confused that my decision is wrong? Actually, so far my decision has been right. So I feel rather confident, actually, to be honest. Because, for example, you know, Thugs of Hindustan did not do well. I was not very happy with the film, and I was not expecting it to do well, and it did not do well. So one of the few films I thought would do well and did not do well was Lal Singh Chaddha. Actually, I thought it was quite a good film, but I have to accept that, you know, a lot of people didn't connect with it, and that was a learning for me. Yeah. So it didn't make me doubt myself. See, you have to also remember that filmmaking is an extremely difficult process. There are certain stages in filmmaking, and there are about 10-15 of them. You can go wrong in any one of them. And if you go wrong in any one of them, most likely your film is not going to work. So it's the writing process. You have to get the writing bang on. Then the prep. The casting has to be perfect. The locations have to be perfect. uh, your collection of the crew is so important. They're going to make the film. So the prep becomes very important. If you make mistakes in the prep, you're going to have trouble in the shoot. Then the shoot process. You have to get every decision right in the shoot, which takes your okaying, which you're not. Is the scene coming out the way it should come out? This applies to every scene. Thousands of things can go wrong on set. Once you've shot it, you can go wrong in the editing. Once you've edited, you can go wrong in the sound. Once the sound treatment is excellent and the sound design is great, you can mess up the film in mixing. With great sound and everything, if I just mix it badly, it'll sound horrible. And if I've got all of that right, I still need a good release date. I need a good promotions. I need good marketing. So if you get all of these steps right, then your film works. So it's easier to make a flop, very difficult to make a hit, if you know what I mean. Because we go wrong, we are human beings. All of us, sometime or the other, we go wrong. And so I don't blame filmmakers. When a film doesn't work, I know that a lot of people, when they see a film, "Arey, kya bakwas film banai hai." I also feel कि film अच्छी नहीं बनाई है, but I know कि हर film में इतनी मेहनत लगती है, और वो टीम जो बनाने चली थी, वो तो अपने मन से सुपर हिट बना रही थी. That team has thought that they are making a good film. They have put their emotion in it. At least we must respect that. Yes, we did not like the film, but I never make fun, of people who fail in filmmaking, because I feel it's a difficult thing,
Now we've gotten Aamir Khan to this position that when I go to see an Aamir Khan film, there is automatically an expectation कि इसमें कुछ खास जरूर है. Do you take that pressure? You know what I'm saying, right?
It's a deadly pressure.
It's
a deadly pressure.
So do you take that pressure on yourself? When
Yeah.
Because you said you're selecting.
Yeah, I get very scared.
Yeah.
Because each time, with every passing year, the expectations are going higher and higher. Now I'm wondering now what I'm supposed to do. Sorry?
I said Palm Dior.
No, all that I'm not interested in. Audience Award is the best award.
But you have made a Delhi Belly.
Audience Award is the best award.
But
You are in a film festival. Don't you ever wish to win Palm Dior or this competition? Like it's been
No, I don't, yaar. Abhi मैं क्या करूं?
But what prompts you? Aamir,
No, I'll tell you why.
What prompts you to act
See,
in a?
I'll answer your question. See, I've been to film festivals as a jury also. So I know what happens and how these awards are given.
That's why we love Aamir Khan.
No, I'm telling you.
That's why we love
हाँ,
Aamir Khan.
तो मेरे को पता है क्या होता है वो सब. I'm saying, and I'm not blaming anyone. You see, I was in a jury once, and there was, I don't want to name the festival and all. It's not nice. I've been in two juries, and in both the juries, the discussions were so absurd. I couldn't understand what's happening. For example, in the first jury, every time an American film would come for consideration, all the remaining members would say, that's an American film. They didn't even want to consider it because of its nationality. I was forced to stand up and tell the jury, we are not supposed to measure films based on their nationality. It's irrelevant where the film is from. We are only supposed to judge the merit of the film. आप country का नाम क्यों ला रहे हो बीच में? This is in a top festival. So see the thinking. If I was not sitting there, you understand what I'm saying? In another festival, there was this film called, I don't want to name it, I won't say. Anyway, there was a very good film. Let me put it this way. It was a fantastic film, one of my favorite films. और उसी फेस्टिवल में और भी अच्छी अच्छी फिल्में थी, और भी अच्छी और बुरी दोनों थी. So the entire jury wanted to give the award to one film. And that film, I don't know whether you can call it a film also. I'm not sure. The reason they wanted to give that film the award is because the filmmaker was a very highly regarded offbeat filmmaker. highly respected filmmaker. His film was also in the running, so they all wanted to give him. So I only asked the jury one question. I said, tell me the story of that film. मेरे को कहानी बता दो. 100% उसको award दे देंगे.
In one line.
No, in 30,000 lines. I gave them the full scope. I said, take as many lines as you want. Then I made them realize what they were going to give the award to. Then I fought. Have you all seen Ek Ruka Hua Faisla? 12 Angry Men. Like 12 Angry Men, I fought, and that film, which was really good film, finally got the award. I had to win over each person one by one with my discussion. But what I'm trying to say is that at best, we are incapable of judging good films. And at worst, we are corrupt. So which is why I feel कि यार यहाँ पे मैं time क्यों waste कर रहा हूँ? मैं audience के लिए film बना रहा हूँ. Who am I making the film for? Audience. Audiences liked it. I've got my award. I am not searching for any other award after that. Any other award has only importance to me from a marketing perspective. Period. So people ask me, why did you go to Oscar? I said, because of the marketing. If my film gets nominated or it gets selected, wins, then the entire world window opens up for our Indian film. So from a marketing point of view, that interests me. I'm not interested that these people are going to tell me my film is good. You all have already told me my film is good. Why am I checking with them?
But we can do this in the Q&A. So, but
एक काम कर तू आजा ऊपर भाई.
yeah. We can change places. So, but
no, but good questions.
But
we'll open it to.
But Aamir, when you act in a Rakh or when you act in Mumbai Diaries, those are not the typical.
No, those are very offbeat films.
Offbeat films. So, what is your thought process when you put yourself in those films?
It's still no different. Same.
Okay.
Same. I'm just part of a story which I think is very good, and my job is to service the story,
Right.
not myself.
Right.
I don't have to service myself. My job is to service the story and the character that I'm playing. So whether it's irrespective of genre, irrespective of mainstream, not mainstream, my approach is the same.
You mentioned Dangal. Now let's talk about that particular film as. Now that is a film where you had to put on weight, you had to practice a particular accent, you had to act older than you are. So
Age was accurate.
age was accurate. Okay.
In fact, that's one of the reasons I was not doing it first. क्या हुआ? Nitesh came to narrate the script to me, and I loved the script, And this guy had come with him, अपना Siddharth, Sid had come with him. So I heard the script and I loved it. I said, yeah, it's a fantastic script, Nitesh, and I really want to do it, but I've just done, PK and Dhoom 3, and I'm looking like I'm 35 and all, Public को अपन ने उल्लू बनाया, ऐसे देख के उनको लगता है 35 होगा, but उनको अगर remind करो तो वो याद उनको आ जाएगा कि 50s में है भाई आदमी. So this film of yours is me playing this father of four, graying hair, fat man, ex-wrestler. So, Mahavi Fogart was 55 in real life. I was 52. So our age difference was not much. I said, ये फिल्म आएगी तो मेरी सच्चाई बाहर आ जाएगी कि actually मेरी एज ही है. तो I said, एक काम करते हैं, let's do it after 10 years here. Let me start looking old and all. Right now I'm looking ton. Why you want me to play so old? So they agreed. But then that story wasn't going out of my blood here. Sleeping, waking, that story used to keep revolving around me. So एक साल के बाद मैंने बोला यार, let's do it now. I can't wait. Let's do it now. So then all my logic and practicality goes out of the window. Once I'm creatively excited about something, then all logic and practicality goes out of the window. And it has to be that way. You have to throw yourself fully into it. And without any doubt, you have to go for it.
Right.
Because doubt is something that remains with you. There's a very famous line in Lagan. And that's a line which Ashutosh and I repeated to each other almost every day. So in one scene, Bhuvan is in the temple and he's feeling very low. because, you know, the opposite team is looking too strong. So Mai comes and says, what's happened, what's wrong? And Bhuvan says, Mai बीड़ा उठा के हमने कौनो गलती तो नहीं की. So this is the dialogue Ashutosh and I used to, Ashu, ये बीड़ा उठा के हमने कौनो गलती तो नहीं की. And almost every film I feel that. I'm not joking. Every film is such a full of, you know, it's a throbbing organism. You know, a film is a throbbing organism. And it takes you on a journey of its own. You don't understand many times what's happening. A crisis a day, literally a crisis a day. There's not a single day in filmmaking where there is no crisis. Small or big, there has to be a crisis. So, dealing with the crisis every day, and you know, it's like an amazing journey. And almost every film I've picked is this kind. So I always end up using this dialogue to all my directors. ये बीड़ा उठा के हमने कौनो गलती तो नहीं की. But then it turns out all right, mostly.
When you do that in Dangal, because is there, what I want to ask is there something that, because every film is difficult, every film is a journey, but is there one flavor of performance that comes a little easier to you? Because when you look at Dangal, for instance, you feel like, wow, Aamir has really worked hard on this character, man. This is like, he's really gone out there. But there are certain films, like, let's say, Ishq. Regardless of what you may think of the film, it looks like an easy film, you know, like from the outside.
No.
That's what I'm asking. So
it's very difficult. Huh?
So is there any flavor of performance that is...
Actually, let me put it this way. For me, and for every actor is different, but for me, I think, when I'm doing stories which are real, where the things that are happening are logical, where, you know, everything is making sense, those are the kind of films it's easier for me to do. And alternately, for me, doing a film like Dil or Raja Hindustani or Ishq is very difficult. Especially a film like Ishq, because there are a lot of logic leaps. One is taking a lot of logic leaps. Even in Dil, a lot of logic leaps. So as an actor, I'm trying to process that. I'm saying कि ये कैसे हो सकता है? जब ये हो ही नहीं सकता तो मैं shot कैसे दूंगा? So it's very difficult for me to play in films which are larger than life. And actually, that is the tougher thing to pull off, because when I'm in a comfort space of everything happening which is logical, is making sense, so you know what sur to catch. In a mainstream film, often there is, in the writing, there is a lot of, you know, lacunas, and there are, you know, so the actor has to pull that off. Which is why I have great respect for actors like Amit ji, and you know, Dharmendra and all. They have pulled off performances which are very impossible to pull off. They make you believe. अमर अकबर एंथनी में तीनों लेटे हैं, एक ही खून जा रहा है, वो माँ में, वो आपको बिलीव हो जाता है, हाँ ये हो रहा है, करेक्ट हो रहा है एकदम. But that's practically not possible. But we don't question it. Why? We believed it that time. If you believe it that time, it's true for you that time. You know, I have to make you convinced that this is actually happening. So, actors who are doing hardcore mainstream actually have a more challenging job, I feel. Because often the script doesn't support them. Or often they are supposed to do things which are a little outlandish. And to pull that off and make you believe it is not easy.
So it's not easy to do it.
So if you have a good script, it's easier to act. I'm putting it that way. क्योंकि स्क्रिप्ट ही अच्छी है तो मैं खाली उसमें सेल कर रहा हूँ. स्क्रिप्ट अच्छी नहीं है, मेरे को कुछ करना पड़ेगा to, you know, make you believe it.
So it's not easy to do it. तुम मेरे हो.
Oh, very difficult. Well, that was difficult for many reasons. One of the reasons is that the director was my father. And my father, you know, was a very strict man and very, he used to get angry and all. So when the doorbell used to ring at home, we used to run into our bedrooms like mice. So one day he said that, I want to make a film with you. So I said, sure. When can I hear the script? अच्छा, अब आप अपने बाप से स्क्रिप्ट पूछेंगे. मियाँ, जब से आप पैदा नहीं हुए तब से हम फिल्म बना रहे हैं. तो ऐसे नहीं अब्बा जान गलती हो गई, हमको स्क्रिप्ट नहीं सुनना है. I got a 3-hour lecture. I'm not kidding. A lot of young kids will identify with me. Parents क्या क्या lecture देते हैं यार. 3 घंटा मेरे को lecture मिला. तो वो एक फिल्म है जो without hearing script I did it because I did not have the courage to ask my father again for the script after that. I said नहीं जो है मेरे को set पे बोलो मैं करूँगा. So that's one film I did without hearing the script. And also each time my father wanted me to do it in a particular way and I didn't think I should do it that way. I didn't have the courage to tell him yeah because I tried once in a while. I got a shouting. आप हमको समझाएंगे ऐसे नहीं हम नहीं समझाएंगे. So that was one of those films. Hey, by the way, it did well. Huh?
You did well.
Yeah, it was shocking.
No, I'm actually.
Yeah, I'm telling you. अभी मैं सच बोल रहा हूँ. नहीं गाने अच्छे थे. It did not do well in Bombay and all that. Mumbai did not do well, but in the interiors it was a super hit. Yeah.
No, that
The
genre.
Nagin and all people were just lapped it up. Yeah. It's a genre which is very popular in India. Very popular genre.
It's in India. So,
In fact, I'd like to do a proper, film like that, but my kind.
the mythology kind of thing.
Well, yeah, Nagin is a very exciting space to be in here. Actually, I love fantasy.
Yeah.
I love fantasy because that's what I read, and I love science fiction, and I love. So there's a part of me which is like a child, So as an audience, I'm like a child. I want something exciting to happen.
Is that why from time to time we hear about this Mahabharat project?
Oh, that's my dream project, yeah. But it's a very scary project. I'm going to start soon on it. Any day now.
Okay.
Any day now. But it's a very scary. Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask about Dangal is, there is this, Aamir Khan started the 100 crore club, Aamir Khan started the 200 crore club, and the 300, and then with Dangal it became the 400 crore club. Now when your creative choices are also paying off in terms of the box office and in very, very high, in a very high way. Not just like, okay, this is a hit kind of a thing, but this is a industry level hit. Does that also make you want to pursue that in some way? Or do you feel
Pursue what? The bigger numbers?
The bigger numbers.
No. See, these actually you have to realize these are just numbers. The fact is that a film affects you emotionally. Nowadays numbers are reported every day.
That's part of why I'm asking.
Earlier that was never done,
Yeah.
number one. But I want to ask you, we are roughly the same generation. Have you seen Mother India?
Yeah.
You liked it?
Lovely.
What is the business?
Okay. I know it's a blockbuster.
अमर अकबर एंथनी हमको सबको अच्छी लगी ना. धंधा क्या है बताओ? नहीं पता. क्यों नहीं पता? क्योंकि धंधा इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है भाई. आपको दिल में क्या फील हुआ है वो इंपॉर्टेंट है. So for films, what the film has made you feel is important in the long run. Nobody remembers the numbers after 3-4 years. Why 3-4 years or after 2 years? You won't remember the numbers. So at the end of the day, what kind of impact are you having on people's hearts and minds? That is the big takeaway, according to me. You're not going to remember, we remember Sholay. What is the business of Sholay? Does anyone know? I don't think anyone knows the business of Sholay. I also don't know. It doesn't matter. So I'm saying that if I was to pursue only numbers, then I can't do films like Lagan or TRANSFOMATION Zameen Par or Sitare Zameen Par for that matter. Dangal. See, these films went on to do great business. But at that time you can't, before the release you can't predict that. So if I'm going to predict, if my priority is that I want the next 500 crore film, then I can't think only like that. I'll be playing in a different stadium, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Right now I'm only interested in taking great stories and being a part of a great story and touching people's hearts and minds, and souls. That is of far more value, I think, than the box office finally.
You're very right in that when we were growing up, nobody really cared about the numbers and nobody knew what the numbers were. a movie came, we saw it, and then we liked it.
Either we were told hit hai, super hit hai या flop hai.
Yeah.
Numbers नहीं थे कभी.
But I think the reason so many people are talking about numbers today are also because social media has made it possible for numbers to be reported in a very large way. So when that is happening, the number discussion sometimes, see, the thing is whether you
See,
want
actually,
to take
numbers, to be quite honest, numbers should be completely transparent. In the US, in China, you go online and you can see tickets being bought in real time and your collections going up in, rupees or dollars, whatever as the case may be. So India also should have a system ideally where online anyone can go and check the figures. It should be transparent. हम क्या छुपा क्या रहे हैं? कौन सा secret है भाई? You know, वो हम छुपाते इसलिए फिर हम लोग wrong reporting भी कर सकते हैं. So the fact is that actually this should be transparent. What are we hiding? We know how many screens the film is released in. All we need to, and there are these rent track, is it called rent track? Where you get the numbers, in the US. You come to know what the collections are. I don't know. So that's how it should be. I don't know. There should not be secrecy about numbers.
Right. I just got a little curious because now people, that has become almost like an evaluative criteria.
Yeah, because it's unfortunate. Because what happens is people are comparing films based on the numbers.
Yeah.
Earlier we never did that. We would compare films based on how much we liked it. But these things come and go. They come and go. Ultimately, you only remember a good film. You won't remember numbers.
So take me through this process. You have released a film this year, Sitare Zameen Par. It has enjoyed success in theatres. It has come on YouTube. That's been a success.
Pay-per-view, yeah.
Pay-per-view, and you have established a new model. So all this has happened. Now you are, would I be right in saying that you're sitting and listening to scripts?
I am.
Okay.
I am. In fact, I've made some big decisions. One is that now that I have Aparna, who's heading AKP, she's a highly capable person in many areas, better than me. So she is going to full-time head AKP. And once I finish the current lot of films which I had started as a producer, Lahore, Ek Din, Happy Patel, these 3-4 films that I have produced, and they'll all get over in the next few months, the work on them. So once these next 3-4 months are over, I'm going to be focusing from here onwards, I'm focusing only on myself as an actor. Only as an actor. Any script I hear will be for myself. Any script for the production house goes to Aparna. I won't even be listening to it. She will take all decisions, yeah. So that's a big decision I've taken. I want to focus on myself only as an actor.
And is there anything that looks like a possibility?
I'm still listening to, there are a lot of scripts and a number of them have excited me a lot. 2-3 of them have been really exciting, but I'm still listening.
Now, Aamir, you are one person who has never made a distinction between, oh, this is a famous director, this is a not famous director and all that. Now, assume there are some filmmakers in the audience and some of them want to pitch something to you. How would they go about doing that?
Just reach out to my manager and, ask for time for a narration or send the script across.
Right.
I sometimes read scripts, sometimes I hear scripts.
Okay.
That's it.
And what about Aamir Khan as a director?
Oh. Actually, direction is my big love. Filmmaking. So once I moved to direction, like I did direct Sitare Zameen Par, that was a crisis.
Right.
So that was a one-off. But once I moved to direction as a decision, then I probably will stop acting. Because direction will just consume me so much that I won't be able to act after that. So I'm delaying that decision a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aamir. I'm going to open up the floor to the questions from the audience. And
Kaise hain, Sanjay ji?
yeah, sure. You? Yeah.
Haan. Hi. What's your name?
My name is Pranoy Biswas, and I'm from West Bengal.
Pranoy from West Bengal, yeah. Is there a mic for him? Yeah, it's coming to you, 1 second.
My mother would be really happy about this moment right now, so credits to her. So I wanted to say that as a filmmaker, we often document the truth that we ourselves are trying to understand. you've spent a lifetime shaping narratives that change how the country feels and thinks. My question for you is, what truth about human nature are you still searching for, the one you haven't been able to express on the screen yet?
Actually, you know, we have so many truths. Please sit down. And I think आप mic ले लो जो है, because it can travel to the next person, so that we'll save time that way. Actually, as human beings, we are so complex and complicated. There's so many truths. So there is no one truth that I can point out. One thing always perplexes me, you know, is how sometimes as human beings we can harm somebody else and hurt somebody else knowingly, you know. That is something that always confuses me. How does a person do that? But we do that. As human beings, we often do that. So that's something, maybe, I don't know that answers your question.
Hello, hi.
Sure. Yeah, it happens to me also, definitely. Yeah. Sorry, where's the voice coming from?
Here.
Here.
It's this side, hello.
Oh, sorry. Actually, you know, if you say this side, doesn't make
This
difference
side,
to me.
red shirt.
You have to say, look to your left, 1 o'clock,
Red
7
shirt.
o'clock, 9 o'clock.
Yes, red shirt to your left, I think.
Okay.
Hello, I'll be frank about this. As of late, there's been this new genre of Indian films, and as we know, in India, cinema is perhaps not only the most accessible method of entertainment, but also of narratives. And there has been this new genre that seeks to reiterate and sort of reorganize a lot of the country's narratives, specifically in history. I'm sure you know what genre I'm talking about. So my question to you is, how do you see this genre impacting Indian cinema? And more importantly, how do you see your potential participation in that genre? Especially now we have movies being officially endorsed by the government and things of that sort.
See, I feel that individual filmmakers are totally free to make what they want. And that is how it should be. Each person should make what he or she feels is important to him or her. And as an audience, sometimes you may disagree with the person, sometimes you may agree with the person. But what you have to acknowledge is that everyone has a right to express what their feelings are, however much you may disagree with them. So that's something we must understand. Only that gives you also the power to say what you want. When you give someone else that power, that power comes to you automatically to say what you want. Historically, all kinds of films have always been made. And the fact is that, audiences themselves are very sharp, and they, decide for themselves what they want to see, what they don't want to see. And in every society, there are all kinds of audiences with different tastes and different views and different ideologies. So, this is a process. I mean, you make what you want, people want to see what they want. I don't think that this has any strong change, it will change the course of the river. Aisa kuch nahi hoga. I don't think so. Yeah.
Hello sir, my name is Azmi Khan.
Hi.
So
Sorry, what's your name again?
Azmi Khan.
Azmi Khan.
Azmi.
Yeah.
ये थोड़ा निजी सवाल है, सिनेमा में हो चुका है कि माजी में हमने देखा है कि आपके इंटरव्यूज बहुत कम रहे हैं, but recently you started opening up. You went for the London Top and there was a 5 hour of, एक टाइम स्पेन तक 5 घंटे का, और हमने अभी निजी में भी बहुत सारे इंटरव्यूज देखना शुरू किया है. तो ऐसी क्या तब्दीली आ गई है कि ये चीज़ होना शुरुआत हो चुका है?
मेरी फिल्म रिलीज हो रही थी
अभी भी आपकी पहले भी हुई है सर, अभी पहले भी हुई है.
मेरी फिल्म रिलीज हो रही थी तो मैं हर जगह जाके इंटरव्यू दे रहा था. देखिए क्या होता है, मैं बड़ी मेहनत से फिल्म बनाता हूँ और बड़े जोश और प्यार से फिल्म बनाता हूँ. तो जब मेरी फिल्म तैयार होती है और मुझे भी लगती है मैंने अच्छी खासी फिल्म बनाई है, तो मेरे मन में ये आता है कि यार मैं हर आदमी तक पहुंचूं, हर हिंदुस्तानी तक पहुंचूं और हर हिंदुस्तानी को मैं बताऊं कि मैंने ये फिल्म बनाई है, आप जरूर देखो. तो ये उस दौर में मैं इंटरव्यूज जितने हो सके मैं देता हूं, ताकि मैं चाहता हूं ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग मेरे काम को एक्सपीरियंस करें. लल्लन टॉप का जो इंटरव्यू आप बोल रही हैं, मुझे नहीं पता था वो 5, सवा 5, 5.5 घंटे का पूरा अनएडिटेड डाल देगा. तो मैंने सौरभ को बोला भी, मैंने सौरभ 5 घंटा पब्लिक बोर हो जाएगी, आधा 1 घंटा बहुत होता है इंटरव्यू के लिए. तो ही से नहीं आप देखिए 5 घंटा, एंड अपेरेंटली एवरीवन हैज वॉच्ड दैट 5 hours. So Saurabh turned out to be right. I was sure no one's going to watch 5 hours. Who watches here? But कुछ तो है.
आमिर साहब, सुरेश शर्मा
जी. सुरेश जी,
आपने शम्मी कपूर पर जो डॉक्यूमेंट्री बनी
जी,
उसमें आपने बाइट देते हुए कहा था कि शम्मी जी की खासियत ये थी कि वो कोई रूल फॉलो नहीं करते थे, कुछ भी एक्टिंग का कोई मेथड इस्तेमाल नहीं करते थे, और उनकी एक्टिंग पहले दर्जे की हो जाती थी. तो क्या एक्टिंग के क्या गुण है? क्या शम्मी जी वाला रास्ता सही है, या जो दिलीप साहब जो मेथड एक्टिंग करते थे वो सही है?
एक्चुअली कोई एक रास्ता सही नहीं है. हर आदमी अपनी बैठिए प्लीज बैठिए. हर आदमी अपने तरीके से काम करता है और कोई तरीका सही या गलत नहीं होता. आपने यूसुफ साहब का नाम लिया. एक्चुअली ही इज एन अनट्रेन्ड एक्टर. मेथड एक्टिंग सीखी नहीं है उन्होंने. ही इज नॉट बीन टू एक्टिंग स्कूल. मेथड एक्टिंग तो एक पर्टिकुलर स्टाइल ऑफ एक्टिंग है. तो वो अपना मेथड उन्होंने अपना इजाद किया था जो वो फॉलो करते थे. मैं भी एक्टिंग स्कूल नहीं गया हूं, तो मैं भी अपना मेथड करता हूं. बट कोई तरीका सही या गलत नहीं होता. कुछ लोग बहुत कम रिहर्स करते हैं, उनको मजा नहीं आता रिहर्स करने का, उनको मजा नहीं आता, उनको शॉट फौरन देना है. कुछ लोग होते हैं जो चाहते हैं कि हम ज्यादा रिहर्स करें. हर आदमी की अपना तरीका होता है काम करने का, और हर तरीका सही है. अगर आपका फाइनल रिजल्ट सही है तो तरीका सही है आपका.
Do you rehearse a lot, Aamir?
Sorry?
Do you rehearse a lot?
I rehearse a lot. Actually, no. It depends. Some scenes I rehearse a lot.
Okay.
And some scenes I don't rehearse at all. For example, you know that scene in Rang De Basanti where I'm crying, you know, I'm eating with Sue, and
Yeah.
Vaida Rahman has been injured and all that, and we come home to her flat, and then we are eating something, and then I break down. That scene I did not rehearse at all, because I was doing it in my head. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want the scene to come out of me. I wanted it to remain inside. So scenes which are extremely, which require a lot of emotional focus onto whatever that emotion is, those I prefer rehearsing less. But I do the technical rehearsals because I don't want to make a mistake for technical reasons.
Sir.
But some shots and some scenes I rehearse a lot because sometimes there's a lot of timing involved. You want to get it right.
Right.
So it depends.
Sir, sir.
Yes.
Who's got the mic?
Sir, here.
Yeah.
प्रकाश गौड़ा हियर. आई एम
प्रकाश.
राइटर फ्रॉम बड़ौदा.
तो बरोबर.
अपने सितारे जमीन पर वहाँ पर शूट किए.
थोड़ा लाउड बोलिए. थोड़ा
जी,
loud, हाँ.
सितारे जमीन पर वहीं पर शूट हुई थी जहाँ तक.
हाँ. जी.
So I want to ask you that how do you construct or deconstruct your roles? आप कैसे एक कोई केस स्टडी दे सकते हैं आपके ये रोल के लिए मैंने एग्जैक्टली ये किया. हाउ डू यू कंस्ट्रक्ट योर कैरेक्टर?
इसका लंबा आंसर है.
सर ये से कुछ
थोड़ा बोरिंग आंसर भी है. मुझे पता नहीं आप लोगों को. बेसिकली मैं आपको थोड़ा शॉर्ट में ट्राई करता हूँ. मैं जब स्क्रिप्ट मुझे पसंद आती है और किरदार पसंद आता है, तो सबसे पहले मैं उस किरदार के दिमाग में घुसने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि ये सोचता कैसे, उसकी थिंकिंग क्या है, हाउ डज ही थिंक. बिकॉज जब उसका ब्रेन मुझे समझ में आ जाता है, तब सारी चीजें वहीं से आती हैं. फिर वो कपड़े कैसे पहनेगा, वो चलेगा कैसे, बोलचाल कैसे होगा, वो सारी चीजें फ्रॉम द माइंड आती हैं. तो फर्स्ट आई ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द माइंड ऑफ द कैरेक्टर, एंड देन आई गो. देन देयर आर प्रैक्टिकल थिंग्स लाइक लर्निंग द लाइंस. यू नो, आप जितना लाइंस सीखेंगे उतना आप इजी रहेंगे शॉट के टाइम पे, आपको सोचना नहीं पड़ेगा. बट ये बहुत लंबा आंसर है, मुझे बहुत टाइम लगेगा इसमें.
सर यहाँ पे अमीर सर, यहाँ पे सर, ऊपर लिखिएगा सर, यहाँ पे राइट साइड, आपके लेफ्ट साइड में. सर इधर सर दिखाई दिया?
हाँ दिखाई दिया.
3 लोग आहे सर.
हाँ 3 लोग.
आमिर खान सरांचा इंटरव्ह्यू गोव्यात होतोय आणि दिल चाहताचा डायलॉग जर होत नसेल तर काय फायदा?
कोणता डायलॉग पाहिजे तुम्हाला?
सर तुम्हाला जो आवडेल तो गोव्यात 1 आठवडा तरी काय ते आमचा
द्विचात्यामध्ये असं काही खास डायलॉग आहे का?
हो सर आहे ना, किती वेळा तरी येतो. गोवा में जाके 3 दिन या 4 दिन एक हफ्ता तो
मैं
छुट्टी.
बोलता हूँ ना वो सैफ को,
हाँ वही.
क्या कर दिए मैन, ऐसे कुछ उसको बोलता हूँ मैं, उसको गरम करके भेज देता हूँ, फिर वो पिटता है.
सर रिक्रिएट होणार का तो सीन?
कोणता ते द्विचात्याचा?
हो,
कोणता सीन ते
आपण त्या आग्रादा फोर्टवर आहे ना, फोर्टवर आहे.
राईट
एक्झॅक्ट. सर शापोरा फोर्ट
राईट
रिक्रिएट होणार का भविष्यात इन फ्युचर?
ते मला माहित नाही.
नहीं आ रहा, मैं ऐसे पूछ लूं.
हाँ चलिए जोर से पूछिए. हाँ
मेरा नाम मनोज मिश्रा है. मैं
थैंक यू.
मनोज मिश्रा. हाँ
जी, मैं एक्टर प्रोड्यूसर हूँ, उड़ीसा से हूँ.
अच्छा, वेरी गुड.
आपने जो पेपर पर व्यू किया उससे इंस्पायर्ड होके
जी
मैं एक फिल्म लेके सारा उड़ीसा में गांव-गांव जाके दिखाता हूँ लोगों को. अभी तक 50,000 लोगों ने देख चुके हैं.
वाओ.
ये नहीं है कि मैं ग्लैमर कर रहा हूँ. उसके पीछे का रीजन ये है कि हमारे वहाँ बहुत सारे टैलेंटेड एक्टर्स हैं, डायरेक्टर्स हैं, टेक्नीशियन हैं.
जी
जैसे आपका यहाँ पे एक बहुत बढ़िया बात आपने कहा कि मैं ऑस्कर के लिए इसीलिए इंटरेस्टेड हुआ क्योंकि हिंदुस्तान का एक मार्केट ओपन हो जाए.
हाँ
ऐसे ही हम लोग भी जो उड़ीसा से हैं वो भी चाहते हैं कि हमारे फिल्म बाहर आए, लेकिन अभी तक वो विश्वास नहीं है उड़ीसा के ऊपर.
जी
अगर मैं फिल्म दिखाता हूँ जहाँ पे पंखा नहीं है, एसी नहीं है, 2 घंटे पसीने पसीने हो के अगर ऑडियंस देख रहे हैं गांव में, इसका मतलब है कि फिल्म उनको अच्छा लग रहा है.
जी बिल्कुल.
सिंगल थिएटर नहीं है जो आपने एक डिस्कशन किया था जिसकी वजह से शायद आपने अभी वो पेपर व्यू किया है.
जी
तो ये सिंगल थिएटर का प्रॉब्लम है. सिनेमा ऑल्दो एक क्रिएटिव है पर उसमें फिल्म बनाने के लिए पैसा लगता है.
जी
और एक
धंधा भी है.
एक धंधा भी है. तो ये धंधा 5 लाख भी अगर बनाए तो उसको 5.5 लाख तो चाहिए.
बिल्कुल.
तो ये कहां से आएगा? हम जैसे इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म मेकर हैं अपने रीजन पे, क्योंकि हमारे पास अगर आमिर खान जैसे कोई हम जैसे इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म मेकर का साथ देंगे, पूरे हिंदुस्तान से इस तरह के प्रोड्यूसर को ढूंढ के या डायरेक्टर को ढूंढ के लाएंगे.
हेलो सर.
हिंदुस्तान की सिनेमा नॉट ओनली फेस्टिवल में जाएगा और उसके बाद चुपचाप रह जाएगा, वो भी धंधा करेगा. तो ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट.
आपने नाम क्या बताया?
मेरा नाम मनोज मिश्रा है.
मनोज. मैं आप सब लोग, बिकॉज देयर वाज नो माइक, आई टेल यू. मनोज जी कह रहे हैं कि व्हाट इज द स्कोप फॉर इंडिपेंडेंट फिल्म मेकर्स इन इंडिया. ही इज फ्रॉम उड़ीसा. जो फिल्म बनाते हैं बड़ी मेहनत से, फिर उसको रिलीज मिलनी चाहिए उसको.
जी सर.
तो उसका कैसे
मान लीजिए कि आपका फिल्म आ गया तो मेरा फिल्म तो रीजनल फिल्म से
हट जाएगा. तो उसके लिए क्या जरूरी है मैं बताऊं आपको. जो एक्चुअली संजय जी और मैं बात भी कर रहे हैं, काफी टाइम से बात कर रहे हैं, वो ज्यादा सिनेमा हॉल्स हिंदुस्तान में बनने चाहिए. हिंदुस्तान में 9,000 के आसपास है, आई थिंक इफ आई एम नॉट मिस्टेकन, 9-10 स्क्रीन. और बाकी देशों में, चाइना में, यूएस में बहुत ज़्यादा स्क्रीन्स हैं कंपेयर टू व्हाट वी हैव. एंड आई थिंक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया इज लुकिंग एट दैट सीरियसली ऑल्सो. मॉडल. हाँ, तो थिएटर ज़्यादा बनेंगे ना हर स्टेट में, पूरे देश में, तो ये सिनेमा को बहुत बड़ा बूस्ट मिलेगा.
सर सुबह 11 बजे का शो मिलता है हमें.
जी.
अगर मेरा बहुत अच्छी भी फिल्म है
जी,
तो सुबह 11 का शो मिलेगा तो 2 बजे तक निकल जाएगा, क्योंकि जो सिनेमा देखने वाले हैं वो तो शाम को आएंगे.
शाम को आएंगे. जी
तो
सही है.
इसलिए मैंने ये निकाला.
नहीं, ये स्ट्रगल, एक्चुअली ये जो स्ट्रगल है ना मनोज जी, ये हर सिनेमा का बंदा इस स्ट्रगल से जाता है. जब मैं भी शुरू में आया था तो मेरे सामने भी यही सवाल था कि मुझे कोई जानता नहीं था, कौन देखेगा मेरी फिल्म देखने आएगा कौन. तो उस वक्त मुझे याद है 88 में हम लोग आ रहे थे, तो मैंने चेजान से कहा, मेरे अंकल को मैंने कहा, हम लोग रमजान में आते हैं, तो रमजान में कंसिडर्ड जैसे श्राद्ध है, रमजान है, प्री दिवाली है, ये डाउन पीरियड्स माने जाते हैं जहाँ पे फिल्में इतनी अच्छी नहीं चलती हैं. हिस्टोरिकली हर साल ये पैटर्न हम देखते हैं. तो मैंने कहा हम लोग रमजान में आते हैं क्योंकि रमजान में कोई बड़ी फिल्म लगेगी नहीं. तो हमको ऐसा होता ना कि थिएटर में जगह नहीं मिली, आपको स्क्रीन ही नहीं मिला, आप निकाल दिए गए. तो वो टाइम पे रमजान में कोई आता नहीं था, कोई फिल्म नहीं आती थी, तो हमने रमजान में लगाई थी. और 3 हफ्ते रमजान के गए, एंड जब रमजान खत्म हुआ, द कलेक्शंस जंप्ड टू 96-97%. बट ऑल्सो बिकॉज उसको 3-4 हफ्ते लगे वर्ड ऑफ माउथ को फैलने में. तो वी चोज अ पीरियड विच वॉज द वीकेस्ट पीरियड, so that we get space in the theaters, so that we get eyeballs, so that if our film is good, it will catch. हमने वो आइडिया मारा. ऐसे कुछ करना पड़ता है, कुछ ना कुछ करना पड़ता है.
मैं आपसे 5 मिनट कभी मिल सकता हूँ?
5 मिनट आप
ये मेरे लिए नहीं मिलना चाहता हूँ, मैं उड़ीसा के लिए मिलना चाहता हूँ 5 से 10 मिनट के लिए।
नहीं हम मिलेंगे जरूर। मैं
मैं आपसे प्रॉमिस चाहता हूँ सबके सामने प्लीज।
Can we have the next question, please? That lady.
Hi, Aamir.
Yeah.
नहीं इसका प्रॉमिस पूरा होना जरूरी है भाई।
बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात है सिनेमा के लिए, मैं ये सबके लिए बात कर रहा हूँ, ये मेरे लिए बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ। ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात है। मैं गांव घूम के सिनेमा दिखाता हूँ, अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन बिल्डिंग में दिखाता हूँ।
नहीं बड़ी अच्छी बात है।
इस
आप
पिक्चर में अतुल कुलकर्णी ने भी एक्टिंग किया है, बहुत बड़े एक्टर्स ने भी। तो मुझे सिर्फ 5-10 मिनट
मैं आपको मिलूंगा ये एक्चुअली आफ्टर द शो मैं आपको मिलता हूँ।
ठीक है, थैंक यू।
Hi, hello Aamir.
हेलो हाय।
Aamir, I am Radhika Khanna and I did my MA from Jamia Millia Islamia,
Okay.
1990. I'm
Okay.
Kabir's batch.
Okay.
I teach in Pondicherry University now. I head the media department.
Right.
But I just want to tell you that 2007 you saved me when you released Sitare Zameen Par.
Oh wow.
Because I had to do a PhD.
हाँ
And I just didn't want to do a PhD just to climb up the academic rung.
ladder, हाँ.
I wanted to do, like you said, कि आप कहानियाँ बताते हैं and you are a storyteller. And whichever story engages you, but you are either attracting or you are sending back to the universe stories that are for the greater good. I mean, that I feel in your work. And luckily, when you released on 21st December 2007, Sitare Zameen Par, I had a reason to do a PhD.
Oh wow. What was the topic?
So my topic is pedagogy of cinema, study of select Bollywood films.
Wow.
Of which 3 films I researched. One was 3 Idiots, the other was Sitare Zameen Par, and the third was Chakte India.
Wow.
So I have done my
Wow.
doctorate on your films.
How nice.
And but I could never get through to your manager on my umpteen visits to Mumbai.
Okay.
And I met Amol and everybody, but
Ah,
never
Gupte.
you.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. But now I think the universe is kind and has brought me here, face
Yeah.
you. So what I want to say is that, Aamir, I really feel, even though you are a storyteller, and though you say you're consciously not an activist, but you believe me, you are used so much in the classroom. Your Satyamev Jayate episodes on nurturing mental health, or your films, they are pedagogical tools. And I think we cannot overlook the power of cinema
No, you're right.
for critical consciousness.
Yeah.
And I think it's great that you're making great movies, but I think you also should spend some more time with students, passing on your spark to them. And I also like this young gentleman here, being inspired by him. I invite you to Pondicherry and come be with us and give your spark directly, because the energy of a live interaction is different.
Cannot be replaced. You are
Yes,
right.
but I think what you're doing, the rising of critical consciousness in the nation through cinema, through storytelling, is amazing. And I think it needs to be done in a more conscious manner, because the government, all the government bodies should take up media literacy and film literacy as a part of the curriculum.
Ideally, yeah.
Well,
I've always believed that, each profession in society contributes something to society. Doctors give us health, the lawyers, judges and all of that, they work in the field of justice. Police gives us law and order. Each profession, doesn't matter which profession you're in, you could be in the labor force, but you're contributing something to society. What does a creative person contribute to society? Am I just making you laugh? Am I just entertaining you? Yes, of course I am. But I believe that it is the creative people in society, the writers, the poets, the musicians, actors, dancers, painters, any creative field. So these are the people who actually, through their work, bring grace to society. As a child growing up, what are the influences that you're affected by? What are the influences I was affected by? I was affected by writers, I read books. I was affected by movies, what I saw. I was affected by the songs I heard, of the 50s and 60s. Those are the songs I grew up hearing in the 70s. Great lyric writers like Majru Sultanpuri, Neeraj, Shailendra, Sahir Saab. So, creative people and their work actually goes towards nation building. What is a nation? It is made out not of buildings. Buildings is not nation. courtroom, university. No, it's the people. And young minds are affected by what? How are young minds built and grown? Through stories. It is through stories that we build our younger children. Whether it's the Mahabharata, whether it's anything, we tell our children, this, you know, what happened in Ramayana, what happened in Mahabharata. Look, बताते हैं. So these are the things. हाँ, मेरे को बोलने तो दे भाई. इतनी important चीज बोल रहा तो सुन ही नहीं रहा है. I'll have to start from the beginning now. So I believe that the creative people in any society are the people who actually, if they so desire, because not all creative people do that, but some creative people, I feel all creative people should be aware that they are actually capable, they have the power to contribute towards nation building by, you know, sensitizing people, by, you know, by tapping their imagination, by, you know, getting them in touch with values which affect all of us. So I think that actually creative people have a big responsibility to play in society if they so take up that responsibility. Yeah.
I hate to be the spoil sport here, but there are